Lomochrome Metropolis, it's coming soon, hell, real soon if you back the Kickstarter. 35mm film leaves the factory next week, so we'll probably have it in time for the holidays. That's really cool. I did back the Kickstarter, so I will be getting some film soon. Also, can I just take a second here to appreciate that you guys used the phrase just a fortnight later, like in an email? Man, I love that. But I was very fortunate because my friend Birgit over at Lomography in Brooklyn was able to give me a pre-production roll of Lomochrome Metropolis on 120 film. So I was able to go shoot it a little bit early. In their words, it has a unique chemical formula that desaturates the colors, mutes the tones, and makes the contrast pop. It's going to be available in 35mm, 120 film, and 110 pocket film. Super cool, let's go check it out. Now for those of you who might be new around here, Crapshoot is a series where I take a camera or a film that I don't really know anything about, I go out and I just figure things out, I don't do any research. So that's the plan here. The only little advantage I have is Birgit told me that the film reacts really well when there's red in the frame. So I'll keep that in mind. I'm sure we'll make a Shaun of the Dead reference at some point in this video, and let's just go. I'll be shooting this roll through my FujiFilm GA645zi. It's the only medium format camera I have, but it's a blast to shoot on. I'm very excited to use it. Since I was in Brooklyn to get the film, I figured the first stop, why not, the super cliche spot. Let's hit it. This first shot was just a basic one right down the road. I waited for people to clear out as much as humanly possible. This one has a little bit of light leak on it. I don't really know if it was my fault loading it or what, but it kind of looks cool. I like it. So Birgit mentioned that the color red really tends to pop. It's high contrast, everything else. So it's this nice, oh shit. Don't worry about that. I'm just gonna get in a little closer to it. The day was a little bit overcast and we were losing light, so I decided to use my flash. The light meter, it was reading around 1/6 of a second without it, so I knew I wasn't gonna hold that steady, but you damn skippy those reds pop. Holy shit, that looks awesome. So since we were really losing light and I only had 16 shots, I didn't really want to take chances. I decided I would just put the camera away for now and come back out another day. I came out with my good friends behind the channel Super Dankness, that's Dev and Natara. They helped me film some videos that day, and we met up with Checkout Jacob, and I decided to take out the Fuji and shoot off the rest of the roll. Since we were meeting Jacob by B&H, I figured, hey, the New Yorker building's right there, let's get a shot of that. We got the red lettering, that should pop pretty nicely. This one seemed a little bit more muted, I think because it was against the sky, but it has a nice look, a little bit more of those light leaks. I'm not sure if I just exposed a little bit when I was loading it up, but again, I don't hate it. After we were done in B&H, we started walking back towards the vessel. I got us tickets. They were free. I didn't pay for them. But I saw this person sitting on the steps here, wearing red, had to do it. I was moving a little bit too fast though. It's slightly shaky. I'm not in love with that, but I do really like the feel of the shot. I just wish it was a little bit sharper. Can't all be winners. Anyway, a few short blocks and we were at Hudson Yards, and let me tell you, it was windy, my dude. I bet this audio is gonna be great. As we were walking in, I snapped this photo really quick. I didn't get a chance to record behind the scenes because they were getting mad that I didn't show my tickets and I was kind of just framing up a photo, but I really love the contrast in this one. It seems like Metropolis gets a really dark and moody vibe when you're shooting kind of in the shadows and not in the bright sunlight. But we were finally in the vessel. I think none of us were prepared for how windy it was gonna be. Like, we expected it to be windier, but oh boy, were we in for a treat.
We made it.
Oh, look, it's 2:15 right now.
You look like you want to kill yourself.
The vessel is one of those spots where I feel like you could fire off a million photos real quick, so I had to be a little careful over here. With that in mind, I limited myself to only a couple of shots. I took this one to show off the geometric patterns of the vessel. I kind of wish it was centered a little bit better though. We finally made it to the windy summit of the vessel. It was kind of like, you remember The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker when you're in that temple and there's like that hallway with all the wind things and you gotta put the iron boots on because Baby Link is so small and he'll just get like yeeted away by the fans? It was kind of like that. But anyway, once we were there, I really love this image of these people taking photos on the top of the vessel. I rotated my camera to do a landscape, because keep in mind the GA645 by default is in portrait mode, so you actually have to flip it where you would normally have portrait mode in a camera to do a landscape. It's really confusing, and I'm explaining it really efficiently here. But I really love this picture. It is really desaturated. This looks a lot like the Lomochrome Metropolis images that they put out on the Kickstarter. And while we were up there, I mean, of course, I'm a sucker for a good cityscape. This one is definitely desaturated. It seems like when you're in the direct bright sunlight, you get a lot of that desaturation going on. And when you're in the shadows, that's where you get a little bit more of that dynamic range and you get a little bit more of those deeper, moodier colors. I really find it interesting. But after that, the wind and the cold was just a little bit too much for us, so we decided to make our descent back down the vessel. It really is an impressive and beautiful part of New York, and if you're in the area, I highly recommend you check it out. It's pretty cool. When we got out of the vessel, I saw this guy in red there, and I just quickly ran to get this shot because my brain was like, person red,
Red on you.
It was kind of shaky because I was moving a little too quickly. He was a little too far away. I am not proud of myself. Sorry for letting you down, Birgit. But anyway, we jumped on the train and went down to Chinatown because I had to get this film developed somewhere. My thought was on the way to Sammy's photo lab, I would use the rest of the roll doing some more street photography style stuff. I went for a landscape on this one, and again had to hold the camera in portrait mode to do so, and I got this interesting shot into this fish market, and I like the framing with like the grate on the top of the frame. It's just kind of a nice little slice of life there. I'm always fascinated by shots like this. I feel like because it's indoors, it wasn't in the direct sunlight, we have a little bit more saturation than the ones that were in the direct sunlight. And the shot's a little bit crooked, which I'm not super thrilled with, but hey, it is what it is. I still like the shot. I did feel like I had to wait forever for this one though, because there was like a million people crossing the frame while I was trying to take the picture, but that patience is rewarded with a crooked photo. As we were walking to get some lunch, I noticed the way the light was hitting this building, and I don't know if I've just been watching Willem too much lately, but I was really into the way like the lights and the shadows were like playing on that building, so I just went for it. I'm not in love with the street hanging thing, I don't know what it's called, the banner thing in the middle of the street. I'm not in love with the way I cut that off though. But it is interesting to see that it was so golden hour-y in real life and so desaturated here. I mean, obviously, desaturated film stock, I don't know what I was expecting, but interesting look nonetheless. Anyway, after lunch I had another one of those Inception landscape shots where I turned the camera and I just kind of waited. I wanted to get this shot because I was interested in seeing how the film would handle the dynamic range of part of it being outdoors, part of it being indoors. And I gotta say, there's a really interesting range of tones and colors in this shot. I really dig it. It's interesting and it just has like a nice mood to it. I think this film can be really good for street photography, even though it's not necessarily something I do a ton of. As we were getting closer to Sammy's photo lab, not sponsored by the way, I saw another bike. I don't know why I was feeling like the bike whisperer in this video, but I had to just take a picture of it, and the flat tires, I don't know, that bike might have been there for a while. This one's just so muted. I love almost how pastel the colors become. I really dig this shot a lot. And of course, knowing from the Kickstarter that this is a film that is desaturated, I was really curious to see how all these colorful neon signs would render. Gotta say, not disappointed. That looks pretty damn cool. It's certainly not the most vibrant and saturated image I've ever seen, but I like it. I was really into whatever this guy was doing, and he had the red basket, but then he looked and I panicked and I moved the camera and it got all blurry, and ooh, not too proud of this one. Every crapshoot has that one that's really terrible, right? Here it is. And last but certainly not least, 16 out of 16, here it is, right by Sammy's Clockwork, that cool little bar over there. It's got the ATM that's really sketchy looking. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, after that I went into Sammy's to get the film developed, and gotta say, I love Sammy's. I'm not sponsored, I just go there often, but holy shit, I paid an arm and a leg to get this developed and scanned there. I don't know if it's because it's a new film or what, but also Sammy was saying that he didn't like how this film looked, but I'm interested to see what he thought of my film, because I'm sure it's the best roll he's ever developed. Anyway, I had a ton of fun shooting this film. I love shooting on my Fuji GA645zi. I wish I had a shorter name for that one, but I really just enjoy walking around and shooting on that camera. And as for Lomochrome Metropolis, From the pictures I saw on Kickstarter, I wasn't really super hyped for it. I was like, hey, film, I'm gonna support that because I like shooting film, and if there's a new film, I'm gonna support the crap out of that. But shooting on it myself and just seeing what it can do, I'm really interested in working with this film a lot, and honestly, I feel like I have a couple of rolls coming in the mail. I'm really stoked to shoot on them. I think you just really gotta know the environment that it reacts to. If you're in the bright sunlight, you're gonna get very low saturation. But if you're in the shadows, there's a lot of creative possibilities. Anyway, this is my favorite shot from the roll. I'm curious to know what your favorite is and what you think of Lomochrome Metropolis in general. The 35mm rolls are shipping out next week, so if you back the Kickstarter, you should be getting them soon, and I can't wait to see your shots, so make sure you tag me on Instagram. I'll come check them out. And guys, as always, thank you so much for watching another video. Thank you, Birgit and Lomography, for giving me this roll early. That was really cool of you guys. And a mega thank you to the Super Dankness people, Dev and Natara. Make sure you check out Super Dankness, they're linked in the description. And of course, thank you to check out Jacob for hanging out with us too, that was super cool. And as always, I'm here on YouTube, Instagram, Discord, MySpace, and somewhere I'm probably forgetting. Make sure you share this video, tell me how your day's going, and I'll see you in the next one. I got a couple of crap shoots in the can that I need to edit, so you'll be seeing a couple more of these in the next couple weeks. Hope you don't mind. Alright guys, bye! I'm running out of ways to say bye. Lomochrome oh, that's a really good start. Metropolis, specifically developed in their whatever. I, of course, for this project, anyway, after that, we were a few short blocks, so can you stop?
Like and subscribe to Sweet Lou Photography. The man.